right, welcome everybody tonight. We have Infinity Gaming Token. Pretty exciting upcoming launch. Has some pretty major partners focused on gaming in the metaverse. Seems like it's going to be the first token to actually do so with wagering. Tonight we have Mike on the call with the team there, as well as Anthony. Would like to introduce both of them. We've been speaking now the last couple days. Wanted to highlight this company and give them the chance to really share at a high level what the project is all about with us as investors. And then more importantly, move into some big announcements that they have for their community tonight, as well as us. So without further ado, Mike, Anthony, welcome to our AMA with the DeFi Angels. Really, if we could, just to get us started, I think it's helpful for all of us at the Angels and everyone that's listening to learn a little bit more maybe about your background, right? What did you do prior to crypto? What brought you into crypto? And really, how did this all come to fruition with you coming into DeFi?
Awesome. I'd love to touch on that. And by the way, we have Chris here too. So it's Chris, Mike, and Anthony. And to answer your question, so we've been in the Web 2.0 space, building brands and building really large communities since 2012. We have a couple past exits with brands we've built, primarily in the media space, digital, social media, building digital assets, scaling them really, really big, also in the e-commerce field. Throughout that experience, we've taken a lot of, we've been through a lot, from understanding what it takes to grow a company from zero to exit, what it takes to build a really big and meaningful community, what it takes to build a really meaningful team that manages all aspects of the vision. We're here to bring our expertise and our real world connections to build something of credibility in the space, because far too often we see that projects are just coming up and realistically what they're doing is they're really hurting the credibility of the space, because it's very hard nowadays to find a project that's actually building value, long-term value, utility, and real communities. So we're here with the vision to change that, and how we're doing that is with Infinity Gaming. Infinity Gaming is, our mission is to empower gamers to turn their passion of gaming into sustainable livings. So a great way to kind of put that into a vision would be, there are so many gamers around the world, and a lot of them have a lot of skills and talents in the space, but really don't have the monetization or the following to be able to turn their passion of gaming into a full-time living. And the way Infinity Gaming really helps solve that problem is we partner with major streamers to basically help. We sponsor tournaments with them to bring mass awareness to our project. That's the short-term vision on the marketing front. But in terms of how we're going to help transition people from not being able to live off this to being able to live off this, our long-term utility is to have people give people the ability to stake their tokens against wagers, against gamers. So we have a short-term utility, a long-term utility, but the beauty of our utility is that it also drives volume naturally for the entire project. So we are bringing in people that we have relationships with, who are major streamers, major gamers, major content creators, to help us partner and market our project, to be able to bring in more people into the space. So at a very high level, that's what we're doing in the short term and long term with our utility. We're here to build something that can actually scale and get to a very, very big level. But we realize that for that to be able to be done, we have to have a vision for every part of the journey, starting from the beginning all the way up to our long-term goal of developing our DApp where people can stake their play tokens and wager. So every step of the journey, we've really thought through carefully to be able to support our vision for the long-term utility. I hope that's helpful. And I want Chris to also jump in to be able to touch on the market and also add anything additional.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. And just real quick, so I kind of can just put it together for me. It sounds like you're giving an advantageous avenue, right, to these gamers that would give them essentially a platform to come on, play, stream, wager, and these are bigger figures. So I would imagine this does cut out some type of middlemen in some places, agencies, gaming tournaments. I know that those are a very profitable industry. So I'm just wondering, being a gamer, if you are a professional, I know this is kind of early for questions, but just, out of curiosity, is this, making it easier or more advantageous for these gamers to come use this?
It's doing that, making it safe, because the biggest issue, it can be safety when it comes to something like this. So the Infinity Gaming DApp kind of works in a sense as an escrow system where we take tokens from player one and tokens from player two. We hold it, and then once the wager or battle is over, we disperse it. So it touches on the things that you brought up, but it also ensures security, which I think is probably one of the most important, especially for the space.
Right. Absolutely. Well, Chris, welcome to the call, my friend. Feel free to add on to the vision and all that good stuff, and we'll keep it rolling, my friend. Welcome.
Chris, I think you're unmuted, but we can't hear you if you're speaking right now.
Could be some issues with the phone. I know sometimes you may have to close out the Telegram and open it back up. Not too sure.
Hey, can you guys hear me through Anthony's phone, Telegram?
We can.
Yeah,
Well,
Perfect. So I don't know what was going on with my computer. Sorry about that, guys. But one of the most important elements of our roadmap is that the key, and this is, I think, a key thing and a key element inside of DeFi, is that we need broader adoption. We need broader adoption well beyond the tight-knit crypto community, the tight-knit crypto community inside of Telegram. We certainly need broad awareness outside of that. And so I think the first phase of our roadmap, which is by far the most important, is to become widely adopted, widely recognized, widely known inside of the niche that we're in, which in this sense is gaming. And it's a very tight-knit culture. It's a very tight-knit community of people that are also have a strong affinity towards crypto. So the first part of this roadmap is to sponsor the tournaments, is to really build up brand recognition with Infinity Gaming. And then from there, as we become a trusted, reputable source within the crypto space, we go into phase two. And phase two is where we start with the utility towards the NFT marketplace. We start towards the DApp, and actually start building out some of the wagers, staking, tokens, because at the end of the day, building the adoption. Sorry, the computer here is literally just acting up. So yeah, the key is, again, building up the adoption, building up the brand awareness, and making sure that Infinity Gaming becomes a reputable brand within the gaming industry, within that niche, and then building out the utility so that people can trust us to become what we ultimately are supposed to be.
Yeah, copy that too. Especially on the tournaments, sponsoring those with crypto the way it is now, with gaming and crypto aligning, so much, right? I think that there's a lot of parallels between both of those verticals or respective hobbies, industries, whatever you would like to refer to them as. I just see a lot of synergy between the both. So Really cool there. And I think the exposure as well, right? We're used to kind of the same marketing techniques within the DeFi world and, crypto atmosphere. So, seeing something like, gamers coming out, right? Like very high level gamers that play, Call of Duty, some of the other ones. I'm a big Call of Duty guy. I think I let that slide in our, yeah,
I love it. I love it. I'm still wait. I will personally wager all of my play tokens to see you and Mike go head to head. I will personally do that. Mark that in the chat.
Yeah, we'll wait on that. But here's my point though. Whenever you have, games like Call of Duty and you're bringing in, Twitch users that have, hundreds of thousands of followers, that it's a different approach to marketing. So I really like that aspect of it. So with that being said, what are some of your plans with these tournaments? Do you have some lined up? Like, what can you tell us as of right now? What we can expect kind of coming soon?
Definitely. Great question. So we just finalized our first tournament, which we're announcing here for the first time. Basically, what it's going to be is it starts on Monday. I don't know if anyone has an experience here with RuneScape, but it's going to be revolved around RuneScape. And we have the biggest RuneScape streamer who is going to be hosting the tournament and bringing in his streaming friends who are another top 5 of RuneScape streamers on Twitch. And they're all going to be streaming it and from their perspective. And the way the rules of the tournament is everyone, it's going to be 50 entrants. Everyone starts off with a fresh account. And it's something called a hardcore Ironman tournament. And what that means is it's basically self-sustained accounts where people can't trade with other accounts. People can't do anything to cheat the system. It's very hard to create an account like that within the 48 hours and really build up that account. So it's a hardcore Ironman tournament. It's going to be 48 hours. And after 48 hours of people building up their account and really leveling up and creating the strongest player they can, they're going to go into duels 1 against 1 and basically fight till death. And from the 50 people, the last man standing is going to win $7,500. And so it's going to be a pretty big tournament. It's going to be live streamed for 48 hours straight. After the 48 hours, the streamer is also going to create basically a 1-hour recap video that goes on his YouTube channel and is going to bring a lot of eyeballs from there too. And throughout this whole live stream, we're going to be having Infinity Gaming and Play Token advertised everywhere. Stream overlays, descriptions in the stream, links to everything about Infinity Gaming in the chat bot. We're gonna also be jumping on an AMA with the streamer. His name is Oda Block, and we're gonna be doing a 30-minute AMA with him during the stream, answering questions with his community about Infinity Gaming and Play and so on. And the reason why we chose RuneScape is because, first of all, they have a big affinity to crypto. It's something that the core team has a lot of real-world experience with. So we know exactly how to ensure it goes smoothly so we can make sure and we build a really solid proof of concept so we can take this and do it with every game, which we're already working on Call of Duty and League of Legends. Those are going to be coming in the following weeks. But we expect from this to have, hundreds of thousands of people watching and being exposed to Infinity Gaming. So, I mean, in a sense, it feels like organic marketing because we're there just hosting the tournament with this major streamer. He's the one from his perspective showing the stream, his transition through the tournament. So, I mean, we've thought out every part of this to make sure that it goes as smoothly as possible, but we also get maximum value for our project. And we're really excited about this. This is going to go live on Monday up until Wednesday. And we expect a lot of people watching and a lot of people just being a part of the whole experience. So yeah, that was one of our big news that we wanted to drop over here because we're extremely bullish about this. our whole community has been extremely bullish, waiting to hear what the plan for our first tournament was. And I'm really excited to be announcing that here right now.
Well, man, yeah, that's a great announcement too, right? I mean, we planned this out. So I'm getting that echo and my muting.
I think
That, you know, you really planned it out. And I like that because, again, you know, you're taking a different avenue to the marketing. So in terms of, you know, when marketing in your chat, right, like that's already, you know, taking place. And I think that you're doing it strategically because if you can capture, you know, this gentleman's following, right, that conversion ratio can be substantial, you know, in a small micro cap type of token, right? So I mean, you can gain that say if he has, I don't know, 200,000 Twitch followers, even getting a fraction of that over time, that conversion ratio really does add up for the longevity. So continuing to do that and pull it off will be really exciting to watch and see. And I noticed that you have a decent sized pot. I mean, $7,500, that should get people excited, especially gamers, to get in and really showcase their talent and their skills, because it's on a platform that you're able to do that with money involved. So whenever you do get around to Call of Duty, you just let me know and I'll be I'll be one to enter that one. But yeah, really cool. And I think that's not the only announcement too. But before we get into that, I think it would be helpful to take a step back real quick. You know, I want to learn more about the actual token itself, right? Like, what are the tokenomics of the token? How does it all work? Just give me a really, you know, just high level review over that and your actual tokenomics, so I can kind of understand that, please.
Of course. And before I touch on tokenomics, I just want to add one thing. You brought up a point about bringing in the streamers audience to join our project. Also, on top of that, what we're getting is amazing brand awareness. So when people see Infinity Gaming streaming, hosting these tournaments with these major streamers, it really builds credibility for us and also the space. And the idea is to take this from one streamer to 100 streamers and really scale up like that. So the amount of brand awareness and overall mass adoption is going to be a big critical part about it. To touch on the tokenomics, our total supply is 1 trillion tokens. We have a 1% redistribution to holders. We have 2% that is thrown into our locked liquidity pool. We have 2% for development, which supports our DApp build out and everything else we're building out on the dev side. Then we have a 5% marketing and tournament pool. Basically, that collects and redistributes and funds the tournaments as well as our additional marketing efforts.
Cool. So just over, you know, these tokenomics right here. So all the money that's being allocated is going to the marketing, the tournament pools, the development. I guess my first question would be around the actual team, right? So how many people are currently on the team right now?
Currently, our core team is about 11 people right now.
Yeah. So a larger team, which is good. You're going to need manpower, especially with a project of this magnitude and what it could be in a very large sector, being that gaming is a multi-billion-dollar industry. So that's good that you have a good team. So with that being said, is there team tokens that are set up, or how does the team make money? Is it based out of the tokenomics? Like, how do you guys actually, you know, profit? Because at the end of the day, I mean, you know, we're all businesses. So at some point, you know, being a dev or whatever you are, marketing, there has to be some type of compensation, unless you're just very large holders of the project. So that's kind of, you know, one of the things that I always like to ask, just to, you know, see who we're dealing with, right? Like, are the teams invested, how they make their money? And once we can start dissecting that, that provides a lot more faith within our group and especially a lot of other investors.
Great question. So in terms of our core team, we're buying in at launch exactly like how everyone else is buying in. So we don't have a team wallet. We're buying in just like every other person in the community.
And I think that's the most core. It shows the most bullish sentiment. It shows that we're committed to this project. It shows that we're looking at it from a long-term holding perspective. So we're definitely, yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to jump in because
No,
about it.
yeah, no, it's cool. I mean, you're buying in on your own launch. So I mean, I guess to secondary back that statement, in terms of providing liquidity, don't need to know the amount, but that will be locked, and that's on behalf of the team. And I look at that as more of like skin in the game. You're providing the LP for this. How did you come up with that money? Maybe, and I don't need again to know the amount, but that will be locked on launch, and that is coming from the team. Correct.
Correct. So basically pooled together all of our funds. We're looking at this from a long-term perspective. I mean, we know that the potential of being even a less than substantial holder from a team standpoint is going to make a pretty sizable bag for us long-term. I mean, it's not about team allocations here, right? Because a lot of times you'll get the team allocations and then you'll get some developers who are sort of motivated and incentivized for the wrong reasons. So that's for us. We think that it would be the most fair, and it shows what kind of people we are when we buy in with the same amount of capital that everyone else is buying. We're competing against the community in terms of getting in, and frankly, that's what we're all about, is showcasing that testament. And ultimately, down the road, I mean, strictly speaking, you realize that eventually the marketing, the development is all going to become progressively larger. The volume will become larger. And of course, there needs to be some incentive. I mean, we're looking at this like a startup, right? We're looking at this like being a business, a tangible, real world business that just lives in the Web 3.0 environment. And eventually there will need to be a place for salaries, but all of that is on the table as we get to that place. Right now, it's not something that we're concerned about. We're frankly more concerned with just launching, getting the project out there, building the broad brand awareness, and then from there we will take it to the next step.
Got it. And to that point, because it is going to become a business. It really, you're in that space to really capitalize on something big. So, it could be just an easy answer, yes, on this one. I would assume so. But, looking forward throughout the project, let's say hypothetically launch goes good, everything goes right. I would imagine that, you're looking at some of these things to bring in extra streams of revenue, considering that you'll be working with a lot of these, what I will say, thought leaders of the gaming space, the gamers, things like that. Is there any plans to maybe carve out different streams of revenue that can potentially, drip back into the LP, given that you're going to be doing marketing, all these different things? I see a lot of synergy there to, as a business, create multiple streams of revenue to help out your floors and your LP.
Yes, there are plans. Definitely, we have a big vision as to where this is headed. There are many streams of revenue that we can generate through this. Eventually, once we become big enough, people will be reaching out to us instead of us reaching out to them. And that comes with a dollar as well, where people will be wanting to monetize our system and our platform to pretty much host their own tournaments. And I don't want to give too much information on it, but we have a very big master plan in the background where we're going to be able to monetize our platform and be able to make money off of it in the back end.
Copy that.
Sorry, another monetization method is going to be our NFT marketplace, because we have a vision where we're going to have these gamers basically take the best moments from, let's say, their videos or streams and mint those as NFTs and sell those on our marketplace. So we have big plans with the NFT space. We have a lot of ideas about different monetization strategies, but I'm really, really excited about the NFT approach, because gamers love to do that. There's so many iconic moments in the gaming world where you really think about, let's say, a certain game and it takes you back to a certain play, or a certain gamer and it takes you back to a certain moment of their content. And those are all really timeless moments. And why not give the community the opportunity to own that moment? So that's just another approach to monetization.
Oh, I really like that too, right? Because if you're capturing this, say if you host the event, right, the tournament, you're capturing all this footage, all this content, right, that's being branded under you. You're the sponsor, you own the event. At the end of the day, if you're turning that into NFTs, which might I add, might have the most use case out of everything from the research that I've been doing. So I definitely see the vision inside that world and the marketplace there. But to be able to turn around, offer that footage perhaps to fans or even the people that are streaming these larger caliber players, to offer that to buy it, right? I mean, that could be a very lucrative opportunity given some of the money that's being made in the gaming space. So that's the angle you're taking. That's very interesting, and I'm glad that you said that, because that just kind of opened my mind to that as well, understanding a little more. So yeah, that's really cool there. So onwards and forwards, let's talk about the wagers a little bit. I think, anything wager, when I hear betting, first thing that pops up in my head is like legalities, right? Like, how do we get around saying that we're going to be betting each other? So I'm just wondering if you've done any due diligence over that, or maybe if since it's in the blockchain and DeFi and it's tokenized, if that's what makes it okay. Just wondering if you've done any DD on that. And then also secondary to that, how will the wager
Chris, you want to touch on this one from the
Yeah, absolutely. I was
Gala?
having, for some reason, technical difficulties, guys, so I apologize for that. But yeah, we have a legal compliance team. We come from the Web 2.0 space, so we've actually have spoken to various different securities lawyers, the securities attorneys that specifically focus in crypto, and as well as the betting side of this, right? And so one of the big things is that we are playing for tokens. And as a token, and this still needs to be confirmed, and this is still some things that we are working out. And again, the utility for us to develop this part of our project is still in the works. And as we launch, as we get some momentum and we build some credibility in the space, it's going to be something that we definitely beef up. But a big part of this is making sure that we're in legal compliance. We do have some of the best attorneys that we're already talking to, that have already worked with some of the big names in the, I don't want to say the betting space, but particularly in this specific area of where DeFi, where crypto meets betting. And this is something we're actively working on in terms of what will be required to become compliant, legitimate, and long-term.
copy that? Got the feedback going. No, anyways, I was going to say it's always good to, I mean, you have to these days, going out and retaining legal counsel, doing that. I've seen so many projects come out, whether if it was a trademark issue or, just anything, right? It comes back to bite them, and it could be post-launch. So you already addressing that. Thank you. I mean, a lot of folks don't even think that far ahead. So looking forward to see how that's rolled out. I think, anybody that's in DeFi can consider themselves putting out wagers, right? So I think that fits the bill perfectly there. But back to the launch. I love the investor security aspect of it. I noticed that you've increased the sales tax. The sales tax. You're going to do that for the first 24 hours, obviously to minimize anybody dumping, right? All over that first 24 hours. So in terms of the anti whale feature, I'm assuming, is that going to be on the buy-in process? Will there be a max buy-in at launch, and if so, how long?
Speak on that, but because I had a little bit of a delayed response here. So by the way, if anyone is if for whatever reason it takes me a couple seconds to respond, it's likely because we're dealing with this feedback, and I really don't want to have it ruin the AMA. So I'll go back on mute.
Thanks, Chris. So I'll touch on this. So we have anti-whale and anti-dump and anti-bot measures into place. When it comes to anti-whale, we're going to have a 1.5% max wallet size, and we're going to have a 0.3% max transaction size during the first 10 minutes of launch. We're also going to be doing measures before we release the contract address to the public, where we're going to basically snipe all bots with the increased buy and sales tax before we go public with the contract address. So there will be a 90% buy and sell tax before we release the contract to the public. And we've been very clear and transparent with our communities to not buy any contracts until we officially launch it in our Telegram chat. And our because we've been noticing that a lot of people have been creating fake contracts and trying to basically scam people, trying to call themselves the play token. So we've been keeping our community up to date with all of that, just to make sure they don't buy beforehand. So sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying, sweet. I mean, I like the fact that you're jacking up that buy tax 90%, and I would assume the money that you accumulate from that process on the snipers and the bots, are you going to be adding that and locking it in the LP as well?
We're discussing that internally currently, but it's going to be probably partially liquidity and marketing wallet. So it'll be both, most likely. And is also going to be.
Yeah, no, I'm not mad at you for that. I think most investors can appreciate. I've been in other projects where you're on either side of it, right? And I've been on the side of them getting in before anybody and really causing damage to projects. But then I've been on the other side where folks like yourself have captured those funds, and it's really provided a project extra liquidity to go out and achieve things maybe that they wouldn't have had. So hey, you do what you do. I'm on board with that all day. So yeah, I'm gonna step back for a minute. I feel like I've asked a lot of questions. I want to open this up for my core team and our deal flow committee. So if you have anything to add, maybe before that, I know that they're going to come in with some questions. I'll probably have a few more in between that process. But if you guys are okay with it, I'd like to loop some of my team in, have them ask some questions. Again, unless you have something to add now.
Yeah, definitely. One thing I wanted to add was the anti-dumping also, that we're going to have an increased sales tax of 30% for the first 24 hours, just to protect the chart and make sure there aren't any major dumps or a high volume of dumps. So we've really thought all of that through. But yeah, please open up the floor for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that. And again, I agree with the increased sales tax for the first 24 hours. That should keep you some investors around that like to come and go. So thanks for that. But anyways, I open the floor to my team.
Good, because I have 3 questions and 1 request. At the end of your website, you have the list of the streaming partners, and I noticed that you have your name inside, and that it's something to happen soon. Are you developing any streaming platform for the gamers?
Okay, are you going to ask your questions one at a time? Just want to make sure I don't cut you off.
Yeah.
Okay. Chris, do you want to jump in and answer this one?
Yeah, I'll jump in. I mean, I think that that's an ultimate roadmap utility of and function to completely build this DApp in a matter where the play token can be used seamlessly without absolutely any interference. I mean, the barrier to entry needs to be absolutely minimal, right? You think somebody being able to put in their credit card, just like they buy a Fortnite skin, and be able to wager play tokens, it should be that simple. And so the only way, technically speaking, to be able to achieve that goal is to build out our own platform where these streamers will then inevitably come on board and will be a part of our ecosystem. And once that happens, you can sort of imagine where that goes. So yes, the answer is ultimately that's a part of our roadmap. I think, again, it funnels back to our conversation about focus, and the focus being around phase 1, which is wider and broader adoption to the mass gaming community around our token. Phase 2, we build some of the more advanced roadmap utility items, which includes the NFT marketplace, etc. And then 3, we start to really build out the DApp as we have millions of people, millions of customers that are looking to utilize the token in a manner that broadens their scope in the gaming community.
Thank you. And if you are able to build this, that would be awesome. You can put your brand everywhere. That will be a fantastic feature. I have a second question about the tournament prize. Will it be paid in native token or in any other currency?
You please repeat. Sorry.
I can jump in. So currently, and this is the most advantageous because the Ethereum network is the most widely adopted cryptocurrency, both in the NFT marketplace, but also in the gaming community, as we've found. So the tournaments will then be hosted in Ethereum, and in some cases, where necessary to bring the people to the actual tournament, maybe in cash. But ultimately, the goal is, as the token itself becomes widely adopted and becomes a stable coin with hundreds of thousands of holders, then the token itself will be used. So for now, it's going to be likely around the Ethereum rewards, as well as potentially cash, and then eventually again play.
Okay, I was asking because if it was in native token, like right now, it can impact the chart if the winner decided to cash out. And as I'm planned to be an holder of your token, it was a bit of a concern. So
exactly why that's actually
perfect.
that's one of the main reasons we've actually decided to go with that direction. Exactly why. And once we have a stable coin with hundreds of thousands of token holders, and why the adoption is so important, no sells and no buy. Well, the buys, of course, they're always going to impact it. And again, the sells will always impact it. But ultimately, no amount of volatility is going to make a difference on the ultimate market cap of the coin. That's the key. That's the goal, right? The goal is to get as many people to hold the token as possible. So for now, we're going to keep it off the balance sheet. We're going to keep it off the actual charts. Those individual transactions will not show up on DEX tools, because it's going to protect the long-term holders. The goal for us is to only have long-term holders. Frankly, we're not that interested in people that are only looking to make a couple percent returns on their investment. We're much more interested in the long term.
Okay. No, so some tokens, for example, have some part of the tax converted directly in ETH to avoid the people to have to sell it. But your solution is good too. So good answer for me. Gambling. How did your calculation to be sure that the house will always win money?
I would like to jump in and just say that it's less about the house, right? Because if you think about us like a platform and an ecosystem, and very many companies like PayPal, very many companies that you are very familiar in the Web 2.0 world, it's less about the actual house winning. I mean, the goal is to not be a casino. The goal is, and this is also from a legal compliance standpoint, is to be a independent escrow service that basically acts as a transactional support element between two players or multiple players in a competitive gaming environment. And so at the end of the day, if we take 1, 2, 3, whatever the percentage may be, a percentage off the transaction itself, we will become a very large company. The goal is to get the volume and the transactions to be there. So that's the sort of core requirement for that to work. It's much less about the actual sort of casino gambling mechanics as it is just sort of taking a platform percentage, just as if PayPal takes a small fee for you to transfer money to your friend. That's the best way when it comes to legal compliance, and also builds us for sustainability long term.
Okay. So that was my 3 questions, and I said that I have a request also. If you can launch it after the AMA, it will be perfect because I really want to buy it, and it's close to 1 AM in my country. So as soon as you can, I will be there to buy. You convinced me since the beginning. So thank you very much. I will pass the microphone to my other colleagues.
Well, grateful to have you a part of our community, and frankly, please be a holder and not back. Yeah, we were only interested in holders. So I'm glad that you see the vision. I'm glad that you're excited about it. That is all that we can ask for. Stick with us and you'll see all. We're not going to do things by saying them. We're going to actually execute on them. And then you will see the impact of our brand in our community.
I'll put my faith in you.
Great.
Great.
Questions? And I hear an echo. Okay, perfect. Way better. Okay, so I have two questions. The first one is really not for me. I just want to make sure that this is clarified. Was there any kind of a pre-sale or let me see, one moment. Give me a minute. I had it. Okay, let me go to the second one and then I'll go to that one. So firstly, I do like the project. I'm actually captivated and intrigued by it. What I wanted to know is how do you plan on converting people from gaming to become crypto investors? So I know the plan that you have as far as the audience and how to reach that audience, but what is it? How do you plan on converting them? Being that there is a barrier to entry a lot of times, especially from Uniswap. So, what is your goal? What is your plan on how to combat that?
So I would like to say that I think that your question is absolutely the pivotal question as it pertains to DeFi as a whole, because DeFi has an entire barrier to entry that is far larger than just one project itself. And we specifically chose gaming as our niche and our market because we think that there is, and this is a strong belief, that there is a correlation between buying a Fortnite skin, buying an in-game asset, and I use Fortnite but that's the point is that you are buying something that is intangible and you get something in return for it. But to actually own it, to actually be a part of it, to actually have a chance to earn something in the tangible world for your digital efforts is a new concept, but it's a revolutionary concept. And that is why I think that our approach towards gaming and our approach towards the Play token as a whole is going to bring a wider and mass adoption into the whole space because of our roadmap, our tournaments, our NFT marketplace, etc. The barrier to entry is certainly there. I'm not going to say that's not a risk factor. I'm totally going to agree with you that that's something that we should be concerned about. But I do believe that our approach with the influencers in the space, specifically the gaming streamers, they're going to be able to navigate and negate that barrier to entry a lot quicker than some of the other things, whether it be financial services, whether it be finance, etc. All of those things can be negated, and I think that those can be navigated quite well with the approach we're taking. See, the wrong thing would have been to do is to create a utility and to build a product that had a DApp from today's point on. See, the key is to build the wider adoption. The key is to build a mass awareness around it and build up the token holders. So I think it's an education, I think it's an education. I think it's sort of the brand awareness legitimacy factor, right? Just like you guys are here to present smart money, smart capital, bring real awareness, tangible awareness to projects that actually have something behind them. I think it's the same level of effort that it takes for us to go into the gaming community, which is the niche we decided to pursue on this project. Hope that answers your question, because it's a great one, and it's a bigger one than just any small thing, right?
Yeah, thank you, Anthony. So yeah, focusing on education might be a good option. My second question is, was there a pre-sale or any angel investors prior to this, or is this strictly a fair launch?
No pre-sales, it's strictly a fair launch.
Thank you.
Hi. I know that you guys have your streaming platform, and in the future, you're going to have your NFTs. But the website also mentions that and made reference to future utilities. So I was wondering if you could possibly expound on that at all.
Mike, I'll let you jump in. For some reason, I apologize, but your it got cut off on my end. Unless you want to repeat the question, I apologize.
I can answer the question. So a lot of our biggest decisions are really made with a long-term mindset. So our long-term utility vision is really the staking platform, the wagering platform. We're really excited about that one because that's essentially going to be a utility that creates mass volume on its own. So that is the long-term major utility that we're striving for.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hey there, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi. Oh man, the echo. Is it on your end or my end?
Honestly, I'm about to throw my laptop in the pool. I will throw it in. I will throw it in the trash. I mean, this is I'm about to. This is the web tech. This is Web 3.0 meets Web 1.0.
Right. I have several questions, so sorry, and you might have touched on some of them in part. But first, what's the thinking behind combining marketing and tournaments into the 5% wallet? How much does it cost to run a tournament?
Well, that's actually the thing. So on our website, we publicize that we are doing a tournament and marketing prize pool. So marketing being, we're going to leverage the tournaments to then bring broader awareness. You think multiple streamers are going to come in this thing, and each of them may have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. We hype up the actual tournament itself. It sort of markets itself, right? The goal is to create a viral, in perpetuity marketing funnel. And that is what we're effectively doing. So yes, it's a tournament prize pool plus marketing pool, and they both go hand in hand.
Got you. So that's combined into that 5% wallet. Okay,
correct.
Thanks. This was partially, I guess this was really answered, but was there any equity backing or funding from the team? Because I know it's a relaunch, but I haven't heard if you lost development or marketing funds. And however, the V1 went down. And you have a really ambitious vision, and 2% doesn't sound like a lot for this ambitious vision.
I think in a sense, it starts with the broader awareness of the actual token, right? This is the key, and the foremost priority is to build the awareness of the token, build up the token holders, the volume thereafter, right? 2%. Everyone says, hey, I want to get 80% small or 4% of a large pie. And the key is to build a very large pie. So
Absolutely.
the goal is to build as large of a pie as possible to then make the 2% so meaningful that we can incentivize the proper development team to go and build out the proper applications, et cetera, that we build on top of our platform and ecosystem. I think that's very cool. I think it's achievable, and yeah.
Right. So if you've modeled it and you've seen the points at which the 2% starts to be meaningful for those purposes, right? Makes sense.
Correct. Yes. I mean, at the end of the day, we've forecasted, and of course, we're coming from the Web 2.0 world, so we do already have sort of legacy teams. Many of our developers are not necessarily prepped for Web 3.0. I will say that, but I don't think that that's a hindrance. I think that's only merely a fallacy of our market that we're in today with Web 3. And that is something that personally I do see as a challenge, but I also see that as an opportunity, because there are a lot of really talented developers who want to get in on projects that are very exciting, that are, want to become and want to be a part of something that's really revolutionary, truly revolutionary. So I see that as something that we're going to be able to, motivate from a standpoint of, hey, you're about to be a part of something that's really exciting. But 2, we're going to have the funds to do it. So we're going to be able to kind of back it up as it is. And I would say quite quickly after launch, we are going to be able to bring some, and some of these conversations are already happening, and I wish I could say it. I just wish I could say the conversations were happening,
Sure.
but I cannot for the sake of everyone's reputation. But there will be announcements, in fact, press releases of some of the people that we are. Here's what I can say. We are extracting talent from some of the biggest institutions in the world who are really excited about what we're doing, who are tired of the Web 2.0, in fact, some cases Web 1.0 viewpoints from executives and management who are looking to build their companies to a certain direction. And developers are kind of getting fed up that they're not moving to the right direction. And seeing some of the stuff that we're doing, I would say they're very excited. So that is as much as I can say about this at the moment, but for the most part, that is happening. And those conversations will continue to happen, especially as the funds are there.
Very cool. Fair enough. I'm going to skip one to not monopolize your time, but I appreciate your patience. How maybe this was answered in part, so maybe you can't do specifics about how revenues will flow back into holder value and the token price. So are those mechanisms still under study? Are there more than under study, but you can't talk about them yet? How is there any mechanism for revenues to go back into the value other than taxes?
I certainly, absolutely. And I think that's the thing that is missing from the DeFi space, right? It's building tangible businesses with actual revenue components, balance sheets, profit and loss statements. That is something that is missing. I can scream it from the mountaintops. I wish I could just get everyone in the DeFi space to understand that. But if we can build a project that is actually a tangible enterprise that has profits, all of that can be thereby used to actually broaden the scope of what we can do as a token itself, right? The token is the essential element of our economy in the new gaming world. But ultimately what it is a business. And what people don't understand with these darn meme tokens, these meme tokens that have absolutely no value, right? They have a meme token, they have all the value, the volume, they bring in all these adopters, and then eventually they realize, holy crap, I got to do something with it, right?
Yeah.
That's what's happening. But if you come out of the gate with, hey, we're building a real business and we're not afraid to do it, then you utilize those profits just like you do with the stock market. I keenly think that the crypto space and DeFi specifically is actually very much like the stock market. And if you're familiar with the stock market, you realize that people buy back shares. Companies buy back shares, which only helps you as a shareholder. So I believe that we have that same opportunity with this product. I believe we have that same opportunity with DeFi as a whole. And I wish more projects, and I'm very grateful for DeFi Angels to be in that realm of in that sphere of competence where they believe in projects that are very long term. They believe in projects that actually have some real purpose, not just the random meme token. And that's why we're on the call.
You and I share that pet peeve. I'm always saying to our group, until you ship, it's a meme, no matter what you're saying, right? Or tokenized startup. I do think most share buybacks benefit the people who are getting paid in options and private equity, but that's for another conversation. So, okay, you and I share that pet peeve. Here's my last question. It's my current largest one. How is this going to be a metaverse? Because a metaverse, by definition, is fully immersive and interactive. So how are you going to get to fully immersive and interactive so you can call it a metaverse?
I think that question is very well merited. And I think that you're absolutely right, because the smart money and the large capital is moving into that direction. So that is something that we're keenly aware of. I think that right now, and I'll be frank with you, right now, the only objective is to broaden the adoption of our token, to build up the awareness of the brand. And as you know, if Nike, if Adidas decided today that they were going to do something outrageous, which they have done recently, I don't know if you've been paying attention, moving into the metaverse, right? The key here is to build a brand within the space and absolutely change the game, right? GameStop today is moving into the metaverse, but they have a legacy brand. They have something that is widely adopted. They have something that is widely accepted. And our goal right now is to make so much noise that we become that. And then I think all of those opportunities as a brand becomes open to us. So the answer to your question, unfortunately, it's not sort of, hey, look, we're going to build the biggest metaverse project. And frankly, I wouldn't want to say that to you. I don't think that's an honest and fair answer. The answer is build a brand, then we can go there.
Right, right. Well, thanks for your honesty on that. I appreciate it. And again, thanks for your patience with so many questions. Thank you very much. And for being here.
Thank you for
Next.
having us.
This has been great. Very insightful questions from us all. I'm excited. I think that I'd like to participate. So just real quick, does anybody here on our team maybe have any following questions for the team with Infinity Gaming at the moment?
Yeah, I got one. So you guys have, I guess you're going to be developing a gambling platform or staking of some sort. With these games, do you guys have anti-cheat measures, as that would be a big factor in either community uproar or controversy among the gamers? Do you guys have like a dedicated team to that, or are you guys following other footsteps?
Yeah, so we're actually working very closely with the streamers that are hosting these tournaments and the content creators that are hosting these tournaments, and we are coming up with ideas and plans on how to prevent cheating in these tournaments. So there's a lot of thought and a lot of monitoring and a lot of moderating going into these tournaments as well. It's not just a prize pool that anyone could compete in. The people who are competing in these are being monitored pretty much throughout the entire longevity of the tournament. Obviously, there are people who try to cheat in these types of tournaments and whatnot, but we are doing every step. We're taking every step necessary to make sure that it is a clean and healthy environment for people who are participating.
We'll give for that. Anthony, can you mute? Thank you. So for example, our tournament on Monday, there were a couple concerns with cheating. When it comes to one major thing is botting. The concern was that players would have an advantage who would bot for 48 hours straight for the accounts that are entered in a tournament. And that's a major concern, right? We don't want people having to compete against accounts that are botted and get to a maximum level within 48 hours. So to combat that, we've set up a rule where the maximum level you can get to in the 48 hours is level 70. And we've backtracked based off efficient XP rates and so on to get to that level. But we put that rule into place because we don't want people having to compete against bots. We want people to have a fair, anyone is going to be able to get to level 70 within 48 hours. It's a realistic level. But if we came out the gate and said, there are no rules in place, whatever level you get to by the end of 48 hours, that's the level you're going to battle in, then you're going to have people who are botting for 48 hours, getting to a max level and competing with someone who's level 60. So that's just one example of moderating cheating during a tournament. And then another thing is we have 5 moderators already in place to track everything during the tournament to make sure there are no cheaters joining and making sure we're moderating things. So we really put a lot of thought into things, and we're very careful to make sure people don't cheat in the tournaments. And every tournament is going to be different. Every tournament is going to have different rules because every game is different. But we take cheating into like real consideration before we announce information to the community. We come out with rules.
That's good. I guess I had one other question. Are most of your tournaments going to be kind of, I don't want to say templates, or kind of the general, like for Call of Duty, I'm assuming do like Warzone tournaments and such. Are you guys going to try to do stuff differently with your tournaments, like more community driven style tournaments with their set of rules, or what other people want to see? Are you going to take feedback on that, or is there a way to take open feedback for that?
I think go for it, Mike, if you want to go jump.
So, yeah. So for the second tournament, we've already done a poll with our community asking them what game they want to see. For the first tournament, we didn't even set the tournament dynamic ourselves. We had the major streamer come to us and say, like, this is how I think it should be done. This is going to be fair. It's going to be very entertaining. It's going to do really well for everyone. So when it comes to a template, no, we're not templatizing the tournaments. We're leaning in with the streamers to work with them very closely to really develop tournaments that they're very passionate about hosting, but also taking their professional advice and making sure that we do something together that is different, unique, but also exciting for everyone. We're leaning in with a lot of the streamers for that direction. But also, yes, the community is involved in the process of tournaments moving forward.
Awesome. Yeah, that's all I had for questions.
Tanner, I also just dropped in the 10 highest prize pools in esports history. I just wanted to share that with you. So to kind of touch light and add some reinforcement into what Mike said. Eventually, Infinity Gaming will have it will be among one of the top 10 of the largest, highest prize pools in esports history. But for now, I think Mike is absolutely right. It's all about the community at this stage. So I just wanted to put that in there so you can see it and do with it as you may.
Hi, I've got a couple questions. Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Okay. So as far as your team, you've indicated earlier that this is a long-term plan, that the team being paid is not the highest priority at the moment. And as much as I can appreciate a passion project, with big plans comes a need to have stability in your team to do the work that's required to sustain a business long term, and for folks to stay. And we've seen a lot of other tokens with big teams that fall apart for various reasons. So can you talk a little bit more about conversations, if any, that you've had about the longevity of the team? Do you actually know each other? If the team, I'm assuming, is kind of volunteers now, they'll eventually be employees. And so when they will eventually be paid, how will those decisions be made, and where will that money come from?
I would like to just say that your sentiment is absolutely right. And I've been personally invested in projects where the development team is sort of tapped out because things didn't look too good. But for the most part, we are, and I don't like saying this because it's kind of, I would say that we're very fortunate in life in some of our previous endeavors. I think some of those have created us and afforded us the opportunity to be able to focus on initiatives in markets and industries that are emerging. This is the industry that we're focused on. This is the industry that we want to utilize all of our resources, our talent on. And the key is, this is something that's very important, because if you're building a business and not just a passion project, the business needs to be built in such an automated and efficient way that it is not independently reliant on one single employee, one single developer, one single player. It needs to be built in a sustainable way that it can live in perpetuity beyond the people that actually contribute to it. That's the experience that we bring to the table. That's what we're specialized in. That's the thing that we care about. We like building scalable businesses. Scalable businesses means that it's not independently reliable reliant on a single individual. So sort of from a security standpoint, that I would say that's sort of your hedge as an investor, as sort of a contributor to the community. But I do think, going back to sort of the passion element of this, yes, this is our passion. And this is something that we're extremely excited about, but more so we're looking at it as a business. And that's the way we want to continue looking at it, so that we can actually deliver some value beyond just sort of the, hey, look, this is cool. This is, hey, this is cool is short-lived. It's cool for the first few days after you launch. But if that chart for whatever reason dips for any reason, you know, developers bow out. But if you're here for the long run, you're here for something that's sustainable and you see the actual vision, then the chart doesn't even matter. And I can tell you that all of the developers, all the team here, we all agreed. We said we're not concerned, to the extent that, yes, we want the chart to always be green, but we're not concerned because for every ounce of effort we spend on a red candlestick, we should be that much more focused on building the next tournament, making the next announcement, bringing the next bullish sentiment into the community. And that's the best we can do.
Thank you. And also just a quick comment. Thank you for doing your due diligence on the legal end. As an attorney, I can appreciate the work there.
I am so grateful that you said that, and feel free to reach out to us personally if you want to just talk shop a little bit about it. But yeah, it's been, I'll tell you this, you know, every attorney that you speak to, they say, hey, this is the worst idea. But then you go through it after about an hour of consultation and they say, oh, this is the greatest idea. And great, wow, we're talking tokenization. So feel free to reach out. We can talk shop and make sure I'd happily present you with some of the insights that our compliance team is giving us, and making sure that everything looks good. We always want as many people looking at the project as possible. It's a community project.
Thank you. And I can see that by the amount of people that join the AMA. So good luck.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Yeah, and I did have a question that popped up. It was actually mentioned in the chat right when I was thinking about it, as we're talking about, you know, moving into that business realm, that legitimacy, right? That stature. Is there plans to docs as a team in the future? You know, I get it around launches, you know, responsibility for money and feelings. So in the future, is there plans for the team to come out and docs themselves?
Yes, absolutely. But as Anthony was just saying, I think that we can utilize that because of our Web 2.0 experience, because of the reputations that we've built. I think that we can utilize that as a catalyst, and for a number of reasons, that it is a part of our roadmap. And I think it's best left with the pre-launch and launch as of right now, where it is right now. And I do believe that that's certainly, to put it this way, Taylor, it is absolutely 100% confirmed that that will be a part of our roadmap. We just want to utilize that as a catalyst.
Understood. Copy that. Does anybody else maybe on our team, deal flow committee, have any questions? I just have one more.
Go for it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll shoot then. So, when are you guys launching?
So the plan, and this is the first and foremost priority right now is for us to do it right. So our initial intention was to make sure that we launch post this AMA. The likelihood that will happen in the next 20 minutes, very unlikely, but it will happen here in the next 24 hours. So I would love for everyone to just stay tuned and stick and be glued to the chat, because we will be announcing official details. We've already got, I mean, I can't tell you how many people have reached out to me and said, holy crap, like there's so many different things coming out, so many different scammers on Telegram. I would like to just please advise everyone, that you do not under any circumstances adhere or listen to any chats beyond what is officially posted in our Telegram, beyond what is pinned in our chat. The moderators here today are the moderators in the chat. Please do not listen to anything else. We will be announcing the details after this call very, very shortly, within the hour. Within the hour, we will be announcing what exactly is going to be going down, how we're going to be protecting against bots, how we're going to be protecting against snipers. Please, please, please just stay tuned. And we are grateful to have you a part of our community. So that's kind of my whole spiel.
Do you hear that, Taylor? He doesn't want us playing live pairs.
Michael.
Please don't. A lot of people have already gotten wrecked. So please, I mean, not like an insane amount, but please, we got to make sure that we're doing it right. You'd rather get into the real token, not just the random, random ones.
If you look into live pairs, there's at least been like 10 play tokens that have been launched within the past like 24 to 48 hours. There are a lot of people trying to imitate us. Just please pay attention to the Telegram in our main Telegram, which I'll go ahead and link in this chat if that's okay. And we will announce all information and all details in there.
It'll be super. It'll be super.
And by the way, me and Chris are actually sharing a computer because this computer is having problems actually talking on the Telegram and whatnot. So this is Anthony, and Chris has been the one talking the whole time. I've been moderating the chats. So yeah,
it'll be super hilarious. They'll do the DeFi Angels will do a follow-up AMA, and it'll be entirely different developers. Oh man, that'll be nuts. Yeah.
Man, well, I'll be hanging out definitely for the launch. I'm sure a lot of us will. I actually dropped the link to our chat, but for anybody maybe listening in on this call that's not on Telegram, what is the best way to get in touch with Infinity Gaming? Where can they find you? How can they invest? If you can share that, please.
Sure. Please, absolutely. Only go to our official website, which is infinitygaming.io. The email that you can use that's on record, this is the only official email, contact@infinitygaming.io. And of course, you can reach out to any of the administrators on the Telegram. I know that doesn't help the people that aren't there, but we will be actually adding some more social components to the website, etc., that will give you a chance to reach out to us directly. Feel free to follow us on Twitter. I don't want to plug us too much. I don't think that's the point of this call, but just, as it pertains to being an investor, feel free to reach out only to our official links. All of them are provided on our website, infinitygaming.io.
Awesome. Yeah, and we'll share this in the descriptions and everything, but it's always good to have it out there. And just want to personally thank you on behalf of myself and the DeFi Angels for coming on tonight, explaining the roadmap, explaining the vision, the use cases, just everything that went in. I thought that this was a wonderful AMA. I think that you're all very well spoken. Seems like you have a good head on your shoulders. The grasp around the project seems pretty solid. So as a collective, we'll take a step back and we'll review these. We'll review the project and we'll ultimately decide as a collective if it'll be an official pick or not. So it generally takes about 1 to 2 days. So after this call, we'll all get together. But I would like to send everybody over to your chat post this call, since we'll have news dropping within the hour. But nonetheless, again, wanted to thank you for coming on. Anthony, Mike, Chris did a wonderful job, and we're excited to take a look and potentially invest. I know that you have me and a few others in our chat, it seems like, already. So this could get exciting.
I just wanted to yeah, thank you. I love it. Taylor, please allow me to just say this. I really want to just say that I respect, and the whole team here respects, what you guys do to bring some air of legitimacy. That is what we're coming from. That is what we're trying to do. This space is so rampant with absolute just garbage, scams, etc. To bring an air and sort of aura of legitimacy to this space is so commendable. I want to just thank you guys more so than what we're doing. And again, thank you for hosting us. I really do appreciate the time that you've given us, but more so in you guys for being a legitimate player in this sort of new era. It's the people like you that 5 years from now, people are going to say, wow, geez, I wish I listened to them. They're the OGs. They're the ones that really saw the vision. They're the ones that created the DeFi movement and provided what it needed to become a legitimate commodity in the space. So I just, again, thanks again, man, honestly.
Appreciate it. I know everybody in our group will, love that statement. We try to bring that legitimacy. We try to be that smart capital, but more importantly, we're here to lay that foundation for DeFi, right? Like create that language that can be used in the future and really understand the markets where they're at, how early we are, and then capitalize on that. So like you said, 5 years from now, we'll be all very, very happy people. We'll just put it that way. But thanks again for everybody coming on, everybody that tuned in. Thank you, core team, Deal Flow Committee. Awesome questions tonight. I think at this point, we are good to wrap it up, and we'll have everything over to you in a jiffy. And I would assume that most of us will be joining your chat after this. So look out for us, okay? We're coming in hot.
Looking forward to it. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate everything.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Taylor.
I hope you saved that meme. I don't know if it was you, Taylor, who saved it, but save the DeFi Angels meme. I'll send you a couple more.
Okay, I don't know what that is, but it could have been me. If all I know is people generally start making pictures of me in coins. So if that starts happening, we're gonna have issues. All right, people. Don't
No. It's
right,
more
cool.
so for the DeFi Angels.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no, I'll see where that originated from. We'll see if we can get it over and do some fun stuff tonight. We like to have a good time here, so we'll come in your chat and party tonight. That's a deal.
Appreciate you guys. Yeah, we're gonna be working all night. Anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out. We're here.
Thank you guys. Go ahead and we'll go ahead and take this exit where you guys can go ahead and conversate and do your thing between one another. And once again, thank you for your time. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate being here. And obviously we had about 67, 70 people in here listening to us, and we appreciate everybody's time. So thank you for that once again. And with that being said, we're signing off. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Cheers, guys. Take care.